Good afternoon, and welcome to AIADA's AutoTalk. I'm your host, Rachel Soleimani. Today, we continue our webinar series surrounding COVID-19 and the global pandemic's effect on the automotive retail market. This was only supposed to be a 3-program event, but as the news continues to come in, we continue to seek out relevant topics to present to you. Today's program came together in less than a week, and I really want to thank our presenters for working so quickly. Joining us from Podium is Thomas Clausen, Demand Generation Manager for the automotive team, and Jordan Reed, Automotive Sales Director. Take it away, guys.
Thanks so much, Rachel. We're really happy to be here, and we know that the circumstances are unprecedented, but we think we have some things that will help all of us just navigate this a little bit better. So first, a lot has changed in the past few weeks and will continue to change as we prepare for a life where social distancing is much more the norm. As people look to limit the number of face-to-face interactions that they're having, and in order to keep business moving forward, local and offline business will need to adjust to consumers who will want and need an online experience. Interestingly, even before current events, consumer communication preferences were shifting, with a vast majority of people, almost nearly percent, wanting to have the ability to interact with customers via messaging platforms like text messaging, SMS, Facebook Messenger, and Apple Business Chat. And dealerships that take the time and learn how to communicate with customers in these more modern ways, especially now, will help them navigate the customer online as well as possible. Now, this is an important thing to highlight. Consumer confidence is at a 10-week low, and the fear and panic has largely set in, and things are hopefully leveling off, but consumers are much less likely to purchase currently. But that doesn't mean that they won't. People still need essential services. Some people will need a new car. I had a good friend went on an afternoon drive after a long day of work to try to get out of their house and got in a car accident. And she's going to buy a new vehicle. They need a vehicle to get around. And people are still going to want to get a quote on a used car or a new vehicle and ask about what inventory is in stock. Questions like what financing is available now still will happen. And so dealerships that are committed to meeting the customer where they are and deliver a really good digital and communication experience will help calm their nerves. And right now, the customers want the ability to engage with you online or remotely. That desire to communicate hasn't gone away. Now, this quote from Walker Consulting shows that delivering a good customer experience is becoming more and more important, and that it will surpass both price and product as a really essential differentiator for that customers use when making a purchase decision. So even with all that has gone on in the world in the past few weeks, customers still value the experience that they're offered, how they're treated, but your business may have to offer that experience slightly differently.
Yeah, I guess, what I want to talk about real quick. Well, first of all, I think it's pretty incredible that no matter what happens, we just seem to figure things out. And I've been involved with this auto space for quite a while, and it's pretty incredible to see you dealers and what you guys are doing. And at the same time, I'm a consumer and I'm looking for deals currently, right? And so we have to realize that business goes on. And so what's going to become increasingly important is, good customer experiences, right? Connecting and all that. How does it look? Or what will it look like? So social distancing becomes the norm. It's really going to be more and more important for offices to make the customer experience, convenient, frictionless, and efficient. Even if the interactions aren't happening in person, it's still got to be all those things, right? So you can make the interaction convenient by meeting customers and clients where they are, which is increasingly online or on their phones. And frankly, this is the way that a lot of people have been doing business for a long time. And, we've been a little reluctant in the auto space to go that route fully, but here we are, right? We're kind of there now, and we have to take advantage of it. We have to adapt. So you can really make the process frictionless by making it easy for potential or current clients to connect with you guys and to find you online. So whenever they have questions or if they need you, whatever it may be, they need to be able to find you. 90% of the customers out there prefer texting to traditional forms of communications. So finding a way to open messaging for all your customer communications need will help make it easy, or I'm sorry, will help make it as painless and easy as possible. So finally, the whole experience really needs to be easy and efficient. We keep coming back to that, right? If it's not easy, people won't do it. If it's not efficient, then you're losing revenue. So consumers tend to take the path of least resistance. And again, we're all consumers, so we do the same thing. So it's good to think in our own, put ourselves in the consumer's shoes. So today, with how technology's changed the customer journey, the path of least resistance is usually it's pulling out their phone, right, and just searching for businesses online. So look, it's no secret that the internet plays a valuable role for virtually all businesses. It really doesn't matter whether your company's primarily online right now or relies on a local brick and mortar office. The stat here is 88% of consumers consult online resources before making a buying decision. Look, it used to be just the millennials, right? Now my parents, almost 70 years old, they're, before all this stuff happened, right? They were looking at online reviews for restaurants, for movie theaters, even for cars now. And so that's the world we live in. So I even find that 88% number to be a little low. But really, the internet isn't just used in the discovery phase anymore. It can be used to connect with your customers, communicate with them, close business online through that, and then maintain relationships after the initial transaction. Because if you're like me, even though I think you can get a lot done on the phone, I really like to communicate via text because it's convenient. So really, to set this up, let's take a gander here at the general customer journey and what that would look like. Again, I like to say, put yourself in your customer's shoes. So each step along the way here, along this journey, it's really an opportunity for that customer to drop out, resulting in lost opportunities, lost revenue, or also a bad thing is depending on how that experience was, they might go with you, but you'll lose their trust and you'll lower that customer's lifetime value. And really what our goal is to make these customers for life, right? So you're their dealer. So how many of these currently rely on in-person interactions for your business? And if you take a look, right, there's the pre-purchase and the post-purchase phases and a lot of things in between that we could probably talk about and find here. But a lot of these right now are relying on in person, and they don't need to. I really think when this is all said and done, and we move forward from this, it's like we were forced into this new, this new way of doing business. But I think it's going to benefit us quite a bit.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jordan. And as we look at these steps, we want to think about what this really means for a dealer today, and going through the specifics of COVID-19. So one specific opportunity that the AIADA really was excited for us to focus on and that we want to talk to you about is this idea of a service center curbside concierge. With many dealerships unable to function as normal during COVID-19, dealerships really need to lean in right now into what they're able to accomplish. And one of the biggest opportunities is service center business. In I believe every state, the service center and the service lane is still able to function and work on vehicles with certain restrictions in place. And with customer concerns over contact, and in many cases not even knowing if the service center is open, this gives a really big opportunity. By explaining to customers what is open, what is not, and how you're going to make this experience safe and efficient, as well as a safe way to pay, to get the vehicle, to talk to each other, dealers can really present themselves with a massive opportunity. So here are some tips on how to take advantage of that. Step one is be really transparent about what is open and what is not, and make it really obvious and clear on your website. So if you currently can't sell vehicles or issue test drives, let them know. But if the service lane is open, or if you can take meetings that are, hey, sales meetings by appointment only, we really encourage people to lean into that, because when people have questions, they're going to your website, to your Google My Business listing, and just trying to figure that out. So step one, really be transparent. Step two, if someone is interested, in an available service, let them know how you're approaching it in the current economic and health conditions. So, it could be as simple as saying, hey, just so you know, great, you're interested in getting your vehicle serviced. We're going to wipe down the interior fully with a full antibacterial solution. We want to let you know that we really take your health into priority. Or, hey, currently we're offering touchless payments. We'll send you an invoice via text message, and you can pay that way, so we can eliminate contact via the credit card. Or, hey, you're interested in this vehicle right now. Our sales are only by appointment only. We want to keep everyone safe. What's a good time that works for you? Are some ideas of how to approach this. And then lastly, just following health recommendations. We want to maintain appropriate distance wherever possible. If your company has done solo test drives before, this may be a good opportunity to start. Again, touchless payments, by appointment only. So we really believe this is a good time to lean into those solutions. So let's talk about how we can move, those steps in the customer journey from in-person only to online, and how using those ideas we can, take advantage of website traffic and other traffic while foot traffic has really slowed down. And the number one way to do that is to optimize lead flow. Currently, there's some statistics that point in the favor of the dealer, despite all other statistics out there. So while foot traffic is down, web traffic is up for many dealers across the country. As people adjust to work from home, see their stimulus checks arrive, and evaluate their current vehicle needs, many people are online and browsing. Dealer Inspire has a really fantastic report they issue every week, and they track numerous data points, one of which is website visits to individual dealers' influential websites. So Car.com is a really good litmus test for customer sentiment on interest in vehicles. And week over week, despite various downturns, a 22% increase from last week to this week, and those numbers were updated on Monday, is really impressive and should give everyone here confidence that people are looking. And with browsing at all-time high, it's a great opportunity to take advantage of this moment when people are looking for the right car and when they're looking for the right dealership. Now, if customers do end up on your website, you'll really want to optimize your website by making it as easy as possible for these visitors to connect with you. We encourage everyone to have a web chat tool on their website that can make it easy to capture this valuable information while also initiating a conversation through text message. And again, here is a good opportunity to be really clear about what's available and what's not, and it will drive people to go to that button and interact.
Yeah, thanks, Thomas. So, look, online reviews, I think we all understand that they have a significant impact on whether your business is found and chosen. And that's key, right? We want to get you found, and that generally happens because of Google's algorithm, and reviews are a part of that. And then chosen, like, those reviews better be good, right? And that's just important as well. So nobody knows the exact, algorithm with Google and how that, what they exactly take into account as far as reviews and all that go. But what we do know is obviously reviews play a huge role in the rankings and especially for local search. So look, your business's star rating is important, but it's not the only thing that matters. So when looking at online reviews, Google takes into account 4 things, and this is pretty interesting. The first 2 are very obvious: quality and quantity, right? That's a given. But what we've been told by Google too is the next 2 are even more important than those, and that is recency of reviews and frequency of reviews. Because really, Google wants to level the playing field, right? And so, if a business gets 400 reviews and then they don't really get much after that, and yet you've got another business that is getting 10 a month, 20 a month on a regular basis, well, even if they have less reviews, that recency and frequency is still very vital. And that shows that that's a valid and great business according to the people. And so again, in the interest of leveling the playing field, the best thing that we can do as far as reviews are concerned is just to ask people for them. You want to meet that criteria, right? And so you have to have technology in place that streamlines the process essentially. So a really important thing to do if you're not doing it already is ask customers for a review. Every customer that comes in, and ask them at a time when maybe their endorphins are high, they're about to get their car, and they've got a little time to kill, right? It's really easy for them to leave it at that point, so long as we do it through the channel that they are used to and that they prefer, which I'm sure most of you could imagine is texting, right? Messaging. So if you text them there at the dealership, the likelihood they leave a review right in front of you is pretty dang good. And look, most people, what we found is they're willing to leave a review if they're asked and if it's easy. So I'll just share with you this. I always ask, how often do you look at reviews? And for the most part, people look at reviews, whether that's Amazon or going to a restaurant out of town, whatever it is. People on a fairly regular basis look at reviews. But then my next question is, how often do you leave reviews? And that's where it gets interesting, right? Is because the two answers I generally get are, well, basically never, or only when I'm angry, right? And that's intuitive. I think you all probably understand that. So that's why it's so important to take control and level the playing field, right? So yeah, definitely you want to ask through those channels, through text, while they're in the dealership. Now we're going to really talk about here. Right, sorry, we're going to first talk about optimizing your online listing to get found digitally. So even though the way customers want to interact with your business is probably going to change, the way they find you just flat out won't change unless something crazy happens, right? I'm sure it's not a surprise to you that Google is where people go to look for a business. And whether they're looking for the best deal out there, they need a new lease. There's many different search terms that they put in, but at the end of the day, Google is king. So that's where people go to start their search. So that will stay the same, but what customers see about your business online, that's going to be even more important, right? More important now than ever. So think about it. What's one of the first things customers see when they find you online? And that is online reviews, right? I have people that will give me recommendations, and that's kind of we're kind of call it mavens, right? They want to help others find great businesses. Even when people give me recommendations, I still go Google that business before I go there, and the first thing I see is reviews, right? And whether that's fair or not, that's the reality that we live in. So we definitely want to take care of that from the get-go. And look, it used to be that people would go into businesses and you've got maybe some sales reps and just a beautiful facility, whatever it may be, and you can really you can show them the magic, right? But now more than ever, and you guys have seen this happening over the last 5 to 10 years, but it will be even more so after COVID, right? Is people want to do it online, so we've got to look great online. So not to beat a dead horse here, but getting on more online reviews will improve your online reputation just flat out. And that will have a huge positive impact on the number of people that want to engage with your business. Again, you would be amazed. Just like ask yourself this question. If someone sent you a text and they asked you right there and it took you 20 to 30 seconds and it was pretty much on a silver platter, would you do it? I think the reality is most of us are pretty willing to do it if it's that easy. But if it's cumbersome, we're not going to do it. So here are some of the results we've seen from Podium customers that are sending review invites via text. So there's really been a significant increase in the number of calls to their business, and then the number of people that ended up on their website, and then further the number of people that saw their listing. So I mean, those are some pretty crazy percentages. We have ample data to show and to prove that it's an incredible increase. So number 2, communicate in the preferred channels. Okay, so we've kind of talked about this. How do people do business nowadays, right? And in the last few years, messaging has really become the best channel for these consumers to connect with businesses. So we talked earlier about how 90% of consumers will prefer texting in general, but a recent study found that 2/3 of consumers prefer texting with businesses that they associate with. And again, I got to tell you, just maybe my dad's different than others, but he's about 70 now. Sometimes I'll call him, it will go to voicemail, and within maybe 5 minutes he'll text me and say, "Hey, what's up?" And and so look, again, it used to be just the millennials we would worry about and change things for them, but this is the new reality. People, text messaging is so much more convenient, right? You can multitask when you're text messaging as opposed to, the other methods, which we won't get into right now. So look, there are so many communication channels that customers have at their disposal. And as you can see here, typical businesses stop short with the channels they offer, but this really is a mistake. So obviously there's text messaging, and that's first and foremost, but email and phone are still great means of communication, right? And it is called for sure. So if your business were to open up messaging to your customers, you'd be able to capture the large majority of customers that really do prefer messaging. So I do think that it's very important to have messaging as your foundation, and then everything else is it's the leaves on the tree, so to speak.
So jumping in here, the third tool really that we think is largely available is nurturing these leads through messaging. Jordan touched on. If you think about in-person interactions, you should actually handle via text. That you could actually handle via text message if you needed to. Think about dealers can send pictures or videos of walkthroughs of cars on the lot. Signing could all happen through text links and software like DocuSign. Service centers can send pictures and videos of diagnostics. Hey, this is what your air filter looks like. Here's a picture. Would you like a new one? And payments can be directly made to a dealer through text message. There's a lot of steps that we used to say these have to happen at the dealership that don't have to anymore. And we want to put this group, the members of the AIADA, ahead of competition and ahead of these trends that COVID has largely forced on the auto industry. So going along through this customer journey still, if we think now they've found you online, they validated your business, and they've connected with you, the next step would be to purchase your service, but they are quite ready. You can still nurture these leads through messaging to remain top of mind. Of course, we have to acknowledge and be clear of TCPA laws, and that people texting is something people have to opt into, and you have to use appropriately. But if they've given you proper consent to text message them about deals, inventory, things like that, we've seen companies and dealers use to notify their leads about new vehicles on the lot, new rates on leases, upgrades that they may have asked about earlier, service specials, and this has really put quite a few dealers in a great advantage. And now the last sort of key take we have for you today is about collecting payments via text and app, and I'll hand this to Jordan.
Yeah, so after interacting with a customer, via the text messaging, after resolving their concerns and customers making the choice to do business with you, all that's left is collecting payments. Now, in the interest of being consistent, right? Like if we're moving forward to make sure that our foundation is, messaging based, we should do that all across the board, right? And so same can be said for payments. So moving that into the now, we can do that all via text as well. So with the new, and especially now with the new social distancing measures in place, having the ability to take payments over a mobile device is really the best experience you can make for your customer. It's much better than paying with cash or, calling on the phone with card info, which is a liability, right? Any other measure, right? Cutting a check in the mail. Really, it's as simple as getting a text sent out with a payment link and getting it done. And again, if you look down the customer journey spectrum and you see yourself in the customer's shoes, how easy is it and how do you want it, right? And you think about all those things done via messaging, and then the last thing done via payment messaging. It's a really incredible experience. So if you're really able to deliver a convenient, seamless customer experience through interactions, online and messaging, you'll become a trusted contact in their phone. And again, with whether it's just sales or sales and service, at the end of the day, we want a customer for life because we know that they're easier to the acquisition cost is high, but we know with a customer for life, it's a great deal of money, but they also bring us a ton of referrals if we do it the right way. And I can tell you this, I drive 45 minutes away and pass about 25 to 30 dealerships on the way to go to my dealer because I know what to expect. They get me in and out in an hour and they make my life easy. And you better believe I tell people about them. Okay, so really we want them to continue to reach out to us when they need products or services because they know what to expect every time and it's an easy process. So yeah, again, moving along digitally during these times with what used to be in-person interactions is going to be key. And look, sometimes, you know, we unfortunately this is a really terrible situation that's going on right now in the world for that matter. But there are going to be efficiencies and silver linings that come out of it, just because at the end of the day we will overcome, right? And part of the way we do that is saying, hey, we still need to put bread on the table, so we're going to find ways to make our business more convenient and to still sell cars and to service cars. So just like in 2008, we will come out of this more lean. But this is the future is now, right? The time to make things digital in every way is here. So look, just to kind of close things up for you, local businesses, as you know, play a huge role in our society as a whole, and really during these crazy, you know, difficult times, we want to do what we can in any way to help buoy them up. So just because people are staying in their houses more often, it doesn't mean that your business has to stop. And again, like I said earlier, I've been on a lot of phone calls the last 5 weeks, and it is incredible to me, even in those states where, you know, business is essentially closed, there's still business happening. And it's pretty incredible to see the fight that everyone has. And I think you're great for that. I really do. I know the dealership world is crazy and there's a lot going on and a lot to be aware of, but you know, really, I think at the end of the day, coming through this, we're going to be better for it, and we're going to be a lot more efficient, and that's going to be huge. So I hope that these tips have helped in some way, shape, or form. That's really all I had there.
Thanks, Jordan. And sort of to just echo what Jordan said, there's a process here where, and what we're really encouraging everyone to do is think about your customer's journey, especially in the lens of them largely being at home. And with that happening, you know, when are they considering? How are you resolving a concern? How are you processing the payment? How are you fulfilling what they said? How are you getting advice on what you need to do better? Getting a review, talking to them in the future. And we know that dealers who really evaluate this process and focus on the 4 ways that Jordan highlighted there at the end can be winners and come out ahead through this pandemic and this crisis. And we want to say thank you to the AIADA. We are glad and hope this information was helpful. Questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A currently or send them to our email or text them to us. And again, thank you for joining and thanks for participating.
Thomas and Jordan, thanks so much for speaking with us today. Again, we love that you were able to get us this presentation given such short notice. We just really appreciate it. Everyone that is registered for this session will be receiving a copy by early next week. To continue our COVID-19 webinar series, join us back here this Tuesday, the 21st, as Dealer Teamwork presents Google My Business 101, How to Maximize Your Local Search Marketing Results. So be on the lookout for promotions on how to register. For more information about AIADA, visit aiada.org. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and have a great day.